So there's a short turnaround this week for the Portugal game. So instead of picking the whole team and explaining why I've picked them, I'm just going to pick 3 players I want to see key games out of and explain why. So let's not mess around and let's get into it. So the first player I'm going to pick is Jenkins. I think this guy is a special prospect. He's super athletic. He seems very comfortable in the environment. He seems very mature. He's only 20. He's had 6 caps, but he's obviously, everybody knows he already captained Exeter. He was Exeter's youngest captain that they've ever had. So he shows he's got that level of maturity. When he comes on, I've not seen him put in a poor performance yet for Wales. He's still very young. He's grown a lot. He's put on a lot of weight recently, so he's starting to bulk up because obviously you need that for the position. But for him to be so mature and just look so comfortable at a young age at such a physical position, it's just exciting for the future. And I've heard it said quite a lot recently, maybe over the last year, that Wales just don't have any of these super players. They've got a lot of players that can come in and do a really solid job, but there's not many game changers. You look, we might have Reece Sammet, Jack Morgan, but there's not really anyone that you could say they're going to get picked in the top for the top teams of international rugby. I think this guy, he's got a long way to go obviously, but I think he can definitely get there. And with what else we've got to offer at second row, I think giving him experience in games like this is going to be really important. I would like to see him pretty much have a full game in this one, see how he fares, and then see if maybe he can compete with Adam Beard for the Australia game, because I genuinely think he's that good. So let's just get him in and get him some experience and get him in the fire. And I'd like to know what you guys think. If he puts in a massive performance in this game, do you think he's got a chance of knocking Beard off and starting against Australia? I'm not too sure. I'd like to know what you think. But we will move on to our next player, and we're going to go with, probably no surprise to anyone, is Mason Grady. What can you say about this guy? He's just an absolute freak athlete. He's so fast, so big. He's got all of the skills, all of the athletic prowess. He's just so raw. All he needs, I think, is just some game time, some experience, some time playing with more senior players, learning the position. Outside centre is obviously the hardest position to defend, so getting used to defending in that position, playing with different people, it's a lot to take on, but this is the type of games like this where you want to get him starting, put him in the match, get him in the deep end and let him work it out against maybe lesser teams where if he makes mistakes, we can get away with them. And obviously Gatland threw him in to the Wolves really against South Africa, and he really struggled, particularly in defence, which I think is his biggest weak point at the moment. So he may be lacking in confidence. I don't know. He doesn't seem like a type of player who lacks confidence, but maybe putting him in against a team like Portugal where he's able to really dominate and impose his physicality, I think it'll do his confidence a world of good. And I think it's a great opportunity for him to show what he can do on the international stage. Also, little bonus is he'll be almost certainly playing with Johnny Williams, so that'll be the second game in a row they've played together, so building a little bit of familiarity. I know it's only 2 games, but a little bit of familiarity from the South Africa game, so they'll understand. They'll have more weeks in training where they defending with each other, running lines off each other. So building partnerships, centre partnerships have been an issue for Wales. So opportunity to build up a new one, that's, it's good and it's useful. I really think they can cause Portugal some problems, because that is 2 real physical players, and you'll have Johnny Williams a bit more experienced helping Grady through the game. So that's my first 2. I've gone with 2 young players for the first one, but for my final one, I've gone for a bit more of an experienced player, and I've gone with Gareth Anscombe. The reason I've gone with Anscombe is nothing against Costello. I'm really a massive fan of his, and I genuinely think he's the next 10 for Wales for the next few years. But I've been very interested to hear pundits talking about what happened when the subs came on against Fiji, and how Wales lost a little bit of cohesion, and there was a lack of experience. So I was wondering if Anscombe is fit, which you've got to assume that he is, because why would have Gatland brought him if he's not going to be fit? But these more senior players now, I think Anscombe is going to be important, because if Bigger for any reason goes off, they don't want that drop off in the leadership and the generalship. So I think Anscombe, if he's fit, he's going to get an opportunity to play. I think he might even start to get minutes in his legs against Portugal, and we want to see how rusty he's going to be. He's not played a lot of rugby for a long time now, so I think this will be an interesting game to see if Anscombe can come in, and if he can just pick up where he left off I think that could be important for Wales, because if he can just come in and pick up where he left off, I think that is invaluable amount of experience on the bench to bring on if for any reason Biggett has to go off, or even for the last 20 minutes, say we're trailing a little bit and you want to open the game up, but you won't lose the experience if you bring Anscombe on. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't particularly agree with selection of Anscombe. He hasn't played any rugby, but obviously he's a little bit of a favourite of Gatland, and similar to like Faletau, if Gatland thinks he's fit and ready to go, then I back Gatland's decision. And if he puts in a good performance, I see him on the bench for the Australia game 100%. And if you agree with that, I think you should give me a subscribe. But to finish off, I'll be really interested to see how he does go, because I want to know if he's done at international level. Do you guys think he's done at international level? I think he's got a little bit left to give. Obviously, past this, he's not going to be available for selection anyway. He's going to play in Japan. So I think Gatland might want to take advantage of his experience one last time. Anyway, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you on the next one.